and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for a full debrief after Barça versus Mallorca on the channel here, and it's going to be another extended edition. Plenty of conversation today, plenty of opinion. We're going to be talking there about the injury situation, young defensive talents at the club, Lamine Yamal, and his incredible winner, the comparisons with Messi after that goal, and PSG's reported interest in him. We're also going to be talking about Raphinha in that midfield position. That's something there that needs discussing, along with more debate surrounding Joao Felix and Vitor Roque. We have to talk about him today. It is all on the way for you. It is all discussed. Sit back, get comfortable now, and let's do this. But if we first of all kick off with some super thanks here, big shout out to Sheesh Boom, who's been watching the channel since 2018. Big thank you there for your gesture, and also there a shout out to Alfonso, who loves listening whilst at work. Anyone else here enjoy listening there at work? I do try and make the workplace a more enjoyable place to be. I know it's not easy, but if I can help in any way, thank you indeed, guys, for all of that support. But let's talk here, first of all, about Pau Cubarsi, because again, guys, how good was he yesterday in the match there? Because he was called upon. Let's be fair here, Mallorca put real pressure on Barça, and up front they had a real physical presence. Two centre forwards, big, strong, real aerial battles going on there as well. And I thought Pau Cubarsi, at that young age, let's not forget, he handled himself really, really well in those situations. It's actually been said in the media there that it was a captain's performance from Cubarsi, and that's quite incredible, isn't it? We are talking about a 17-year-old player. What he is doing right now at centre-back, we know Yamal is going to get the headlines, and rightly so. We're going to talk about him in so much detail today. But Cubarsi's doing incredible in defence. He really, really is. And so naturally, after the game, some of the media there, and I'm talking about the Madrid side of the media, they decided to come out and say, oh, by the way, did you know Pau Cubarsi's release clause was only 10 million euros? Do you know there that there's lots of Premier League clubs that are right on the verge of getting an incredible bargain? Well, they're just not, though, are they? Because let me make it very, very clear here. Yes, that release clause is low. Yes, Barça are trying to renew Cubarsi right now. He wants to stay. It is so blindingly clear that he wants to have his future at this club. Because he said after the game, he made it so clear himself. He said, I heard people chanting my name. It's an honour to see the club of your life recognising what you're doing. And then he went on to say, I still can't imagine what it would feel like to play at the Camp Nou. And he said, I will fight to make that a reality. He wants to be there in the new stadium. He wants to hear the fans chanting his name inside the Camp Nou. And he's going to get it. He's going to stay right here and be a big part of our future. However, guys, the talent doesn't stop there, because I actually want to go here from Cubarsi to Mikayil Faye. I want to talk about another really talented young centre-back who I think in today's video really deserves a mention and a bit of discussion, because obviously this weekend he received there his very first call-up to the first-team squad in La Liga, which I'm sure for him was a really proud, really nice moment there to be in the squad, to be with the first team. Now, he didn't get onto the field. That was unfortunate for him, but he is one to watch right now. He is still only 19 years old. We signed him back in the summer, remember, for just 5 million euros. And although he hasn't yet had the opportunities in the first team, he has been having a really good season there at Barça Athletic under Rafa Marquez. I think he's had a real importance there in the defensive structure of the team. And his talent, by the way, what he has been doing has not gone unnoticed in the footballing world, because even back in January, Barça actively rejected an offer for him. They had a 9 million offer there from Lens back in the winter transfer window, and that would have nearly doubled Barca's investment after only 6 months, but they rejected it because they believe in the talent of Mikayil Faye. And even ahead of the summer now, we're hearing the likes of Arsenal, Dortmund, Nice and Lille are all watching him. They're all scouting him, they're looking at what he can do, and there could be potentially bigger offers to come Barca's way this summer. But I think we all want to see Mikayil Faye. You know, he's a real talent there. He's clearly got quality about his game. That's why clubs are already looking to try and take him from us. And I think ahead of the summer, you look at the centre-back position, there may be exits, there may be players moving on, a slot in the first team may well open up, and Mikayil Faye is ready. He is waiting for that opportunity, and along with Cubarsi right now, we are blessed with talent in defence. Then though, I do want to move on and talk here about Raphinha, because I thought it was really interesting yesterday to see him in that midfield role, in that interior position, and I thought the first thing that was incredibly surprising was that Xavi experimented with Raphinha as an interior earlier in the season against Sevilla. Now, after 37 minutes of play, he went off injured in that game. Yesterday, he was tried again in midfield against Mallorca, subbed off injured after 37 minutes again. I mean, I couldn't believe that when I saw it. That is an unbelievable coincidence there, and it's quite eerie sometimes, the way that things work out. But the great news today is Raphinha is not injured. That is absolutely fantastic there. Ahead of the Napoli game, it looks like he's going to be fine. It looks like he's going to be all okay there, ready to face them in the Champions League, and he was only subbed off yesterday as a precaution, which is a big, big boost to Barca. But I want to talk more about him in midfield. I want to talk more about some of the characteristics that he showed in that area, because I thought yesterday, in that first half against Mallorca, Raphinha, he was one of our biggest threats there. I mean, obviously the bar was low. We weren't threatening from many areas of the team, but he was lively. He showed a lot of energy in that position. He was also tracking back as well. He wasn't neglecting his defensive duties. And I thought it was also interesting sometimes when Ter Stegen had the ball, it was Raphinha who was the one darting deep there to actually receive it. He was brave enough, confident enough there to take it off the goalkeeper and get things moving. And it was a really interesting dynamic because, like I say, Mallorca didn't know where he was going to pop up next. They didn't really know how to mark him, where to be, where to stop the runs, and they really struggled to do that. And I think it's an interesting sort of card to play there, an unexpected one, a surprising one really, to opposition defences, because they don't really seem to know how to pick up Raphinha. And I'm wondering now, is this going to work in more games? You know, obviously Mallorca, they're not the best opponent in the world. They're a good team, they're a quality team, but there's going to be bigger tests out there. And I'm looking at that Napoli game now thinking, are we going to see it tried there with Raphinha in midfield? It would probably be a risk, but is it one worth taking to spring that surprise on them, to bring that sort of unpredictability? Because I also think when Raphinha is in that more central area, he can actually get more shots away. Out wide at times, you see him being nullified because 1 versus 1, he can struggle, you know, in that wide position. If he's isolated, if he's out there on his own, he can struggle in those battles, in those duels, but you bring him inside and he seems to enjoy the freedom a bit more. So I'm really interested to know here, guys, from the brief glimpses we've had of Raphinha in this midfield position, does it maybe suit him more? Is it worth a gamble there? Is it worth putting him there against Napoli, especially given we are not blessed with midfield options right now? However, what we are blessed with in this team is Lamine Yamal, and I want to talk about this young man in so much detail right now because he is a star. He is an absolute wizard there on the right side. Now, before we even go on to talk about that sheer genius, the most important thing to say is Yamal is okay. He is absolutely fine, apparently, and will be ready to face Napoli. We saw him limping around at the end of the game. That sent us all over the edge. We did not want to see him have an injury, but he is okay. And it was only a little bit of a knock there that he is going to be fine from. So we can all rest easy and now enjoy the magic. Because let's talk, first of all, about that match winner. How can we not talk about that goal? I mean, the way the ball hit the back of the net, the goalkeeper standing watching on, Yamal there looking so in control of everything. Just what a goal. I have watched that back, watched it on repeat there so many times. Every single angle you see that goal from, it gets better and better and better. And that is why, after the game there, Mallorca's coach, Javier Aguirre, who's been in the game a long, long time in La Liga, he said the first time I saw Leo Messi, it was 21 years ago, and he said it took me 5 minutes to see it. And he said Yamal is starting to look like that too. He said, I know that this club works really well with young people at Barca, and if he continues like this, he will bring Barca a lot of happiness. And of course it was inevitable there that we were going to get some Yamal Messi comparisons. That's the way the game is today. You're looking for the big headline, and Messi and Yamal, they tick the boxes. Comparing the two, it is inevitable. Xavi replied though to Aguirre. He said, I understand that point of view, I understand what he's trying to say there, but I don't think that they should be compared. compared. He said anyone will lose when being compared to Messi. We are talking about the best player in the history of this sport, so they should not be compared. And I have to say there, I completely agree with Xavi. There's no need to compare Yamal with Lionel Messi. That's not really a road that you want to go down because, like Xavi says there, Messi's the ultimate. Messi is the absolute peak, and that's why you don't want to put unnecessary pressure. You don't want to burden Yamal with all of that there to live up to, because it's almost and pretty much impossible. But what I would say is, though, you can compare, in my opinion, the action. That's different for me. Not the players. Don't compare them directly there. Don't say Yamal is going to be the new Messi. But I think you can say, and I think it's a compliment to say, that goal yesterday looked like a Messi goal. That looked like something Messi would do. I think that is a huge compliment to Lamine Yamal, and that shouldn't bring pressure, because you look at the way there that he was able to manoeuvre in that tight space there. He was twisting, he was turning right, left, and then it looked as though he had no space, he had no room, he had no right to even take on that shot. There was no space to do it, and yet he found the gap. That's something there that Messi would do, finding a gap, finding a space where there isn't one, and finding the top corner. That is the biggest compliment that we can pay here to young Lamine Yamal. But of course he has to forge his own path. That is the really, really important thing. But there have been some big reports today, and in the media this morning, it is being claimed that PSG have made a €200 million bid for Lamine Yamal. They want Yamal to be Mbappe's long-term replacement at the club. PSG right now are desperate to replace Mbappe in some way. They want Yamal, and they have offered Barca 200 million to make it happen now. But Barca apparently have rejected that offer. Now, a lot of people at this point are debating whether or not this is real, whether or not this is true in any way, because this news here comes from Luis Rojo of Marca. But I mean, with PSG, I've got to be honest with you guys, I could actually believe this, because they are losing Mbappe. They need a new star at the club. They need a new match-winning player to sort of bring them back to life in some way. And this is a club, don't forget, that paid €222 million for Neymar without even hesitating. They did not even think about it. And that was 7 years ago in terms of the transfer fee. So now I could imagine them wanting to pay 200 million now for Lamine Yamal, but Barca have rejected it. And some of the media are saying, well, Barca, should they turn it down? Should they actually reject that offer? Because if they were to accept it, if they sold Yamal, that would really help turn around their financial problems with an immediate return there in La Liga to the one-for-one rule. So what? I mean, really, is that a reason to sell a player here who is one of the biggest talents we've ever seen at this club? Are you really telling me that we should go ahead and send him away just so we can return to La Liga's stupid one-for-one rule? That's what La Liga want us to do. They want us to keep selling our best players, to keep sending away the players and the talent that we have. We're not going to do that. We cannot sell Lamine Yamal, because people even will say, oh, but he could become the next Ansu Fati. Maybe you cash in on him now in the fear there that he has a bad injury, but that could honestly happen to anybody. I don't think we can constantly say, well, every talent that we have might end up there like Ansu. It was a freak injury. It's something that I really wish had never happened. It was absolutely heartbreaking, but you've got to have faith here that Yamal can steer clear of those serious and career-threatening injury problems, because we've got to look after him, and we have to trust in him here and build things around him at this club right now, because on the trajectory that he's on, he is priceless to this club. No amount of money, no offer here can buy the talent and the hope and the excitement that he gives us fans right now, and that is why he is not for sale. Which brings us on then to Joao Felix, which maybe, by the way, guys, say we were to sell somebody like Yamal, raise a load of money, I can honestly see the club going out and paying 70, 80 million there to sign Joao Felix. And is that the kind of direction? Is that a good use of the money, in your opinion? Because it is being said right now that last night Joao Felix wanted to take the penalty there that Gundogan, of course, went off to miss. He picked up the ball, he approached the penalty spot hoping to be able to take it, but Gundogan appeared because he is the second penalty taker at the club. So it's Robert Lewandowski, then it's Gundogan. So Felix was unable to go and take that last night. But I just want to say, Where was Joao Felix yesterday? He played for 60 minutes of the game, and we barely saw him. We barely saw him have any amount of impact in last night's game. And I just think right now with him, you've got to get yourself more involved. You have to try and produce a bit more urgency about your game and a bit more consistency, because you can't have one game where you're brilliant, where you can be a world beater, but then have sort of 4 or 5 games where you're invisible in this team right now. And I just still think here that Joao Felix has so much to prove at this club in these final stages of the season, just to convince us that he should continue here, that we should be going out in the summer and making a real effort to get him to continue at the club, because right now we're not seeing that consistency. We're not seeing the kind of quality that we were when he initially arrived. He's got to get that back. He's got to work really, really hard to find a higher level, because that's what we need. And then there's the topic of Vitor Roque, because honestly, guys, last night when I saw that starting lineup, it just felt to me as though this was the one rare occasion where Lewandowski didn't start. That never really happens. Roque had a huge opportunity to finally play as a number 9, to finally play in his natural position at home against a team there where he could have caused problems. And he didn't get the call from Xavi. And that only seemed to add from what happened before there, not being used at San Mamés, and Xavi saying before the game that Roque had to earn his minutes in the team. And I just think that really added insult to injury, that starting lineup. Because what you cannot forget here is not only Roque is very talented, he can help us, he could certainly be more of a threat than what we've been showing in recent games, but he's also a €40 million signing. We as a club have made a huge investment in him. And given our financial situation, 40 million, it's big. It is a serious amount of money to pay. And if Xavi wasn't going in the summer, I'd be really worried about that investment right now. If I was the club, looking at the way things are going in terms of their relationship, I would be thinking, what on earth is happening? We have signed this guy, even despite our situation, for huge money, and we're not even seeing him. We're not even getting opportunities for him in the team. Because if you're Vitor Roque, you're a young player at a new club. You've got big expectations of you coming over from Brazil for that big fee. You want opportunities. You want to show what you can do as soon as possible. Because as we know at Barça, that confidence can slip away so quickly. It can eat away at you at this club. We've seen it with so many players before, whereby if things aren't going right, if things continue for a sustained period of time, they never look like the same player. They never recapture the quality that they once had. And that is why I was happy to see that after the game, Xavi did actually praise Vitor Roque for his performance. And rightly so. He made things happen. He said today Vitor Roque had an excellent half an hour in this game. He was very, very good in his duels, and he created spaces for us. He said little by little, he will start to get more minutes. And only time is going to tell there. He said little by little, he's going to get more minutes. So we don't know how soon they're going to come, how many minutes he's going to get. I think Roque is going to have to continue to be very, very patient towards the end of this season. But he's just going to look to take every chance. He has to come on yesterday. He's got to leave everything behind him. He can't have any attitude. He can't feel as though he's being hard done by. He's got to really find a way here of keeping his head down, focusing on his work on the field, because it is tough for him right now. He is going through some tough times, some tough treatment in my opinion, but he is good enough. He is definitely good enough to rise above all of this and show us all exactly what he can do. And that there, guys, is indeed the full debrief from Barça versus Mallorca this weekend. I think it brought about plenty more questions, but ahead of that Napoli game, please do let me know there your thoughts on the likes of Raphinha, on Roque's situation, on Joao Felix, and of course on the match winner, on the rumours surrounding him, Lamine Yamal. I will wait to hear all of your comments, all of your feelings down below. We have important days to come at this club, and I will see you soon to discuss it all. Thank you indeed, guys, for tuning in here today. But until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.